Guys, what if we told you that we entered recession at the end of 2021 and we've been in it ever since? Believe us? Well, we're going to talk about that in this video, so let's dive in.
Trade Genius.
So, Bob, you're proposing we've been in recession for like over a year. What the heck are you talking about?
Yeah, so this is another way which the government deceives people is that they've conditioned us to look at numbers that are not really, they don't isolate inflation. So they say, hey, the economy grew, the GDP print came out today, the economy grew 2.2%. Aren't we doing great? And then you look at the CPI prints and they've been massively over the GDP prints. So we've actually, in terms of your standard of living, and the true growth of the economy is that we're not really growing. We're actually continually in a recession since 2021, Phil. And look, I'll show you. So if you look at percent change on the chart, if you have this chart up, we had a slight bump quarter over quarter, okay? And then you take a look at this next chart. And this next chart is the CPI prints. And CPI prints have been well in excess of GDP. So in real terms, we've been going backwards. And here's going to be the kicker, and I think this is why we've been centered in so much on September, October, November for the stock market, is that we're going to get a CPI print, at least on the core side, that's going to print higher than what we did. The August print will be higher than the July print. And we're seeing softening in shippers, truckers, layoffs, employment that's going to affect the GDP print going into Q3. And so we may even have, negative GDP on even nominal terms. And so my point of view, Phil, is I'd like to get your opinion on it, is that we never really left a recession if you isolate out basically the fake increases in the money supply. And the money supplies are in 5% a year. So it's probably even, CPI print's probably even worse than what they're even showing you.
Yeah, no, I think this is an interesting perspective, and you're right, because I think that when you start looking at the feedback we're getting from the middle class, lower middle class, they're struggling hard right now just to pay the bills. I know up in Canada, that's the case. You see a lot of social media posts where people are just like, what do I do? Or I barely have enough food, money left over to eat. And so it's a big problem. And, that's what's kind of aggravating, is that when they come out and, the Fed's, wanting to do victory laps about getting inflation back under 3%, heading toward 2%. But you're absolutely right. In terms of GDP, we've been underwater the whole time. And not only that, but you have this big mountainous rise in inflation, and that's the rate of growth. It isn't the inflation, it's the rate of growth. So we've been stuck with this inflation that's built up over the last couple of years. So in reality, we need a deflationary cycle. No one likes to say that because it's a very scary word for the markets, because sometimes it can be very difficult to get out of a deflationary spiral. So the markets are deathly afraid of mentioning that. But I bet you that in reality, the Fed knows that that's probably what we need to have, a couple quarters of deflation to kind of unwind some of this stuff. And Bob, I still think that, you have a huge amount of excess M2 supply in the system yet, right? We know the rate of change has gotten very negative because they're trying to peel that back out. But if you zoom out on that chart, I don't have it here handy. If you go from the 2020 COVID spike in that, we've got a long ways to go yet.
Hey guys, if you guys don't mind, head over to tradegenius.co. Check out our specials we have over there. There's a number of different specials with different packages for all different experience types. If you're more into education, we have a package for that. If you just like to get into the room, primarily, we have a package for that as well, where you can see where we're calling out trades and things like that live, and also posting signals into our Discord signal rooms. So check it out, tradegenius.co. Appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, and the issue that you have with, with these prints, with the M2 supply, is that wealthy people create dead money, poor people have velocity. And we're at the point now where I would say the poor, the lower middle class, and the middle class, I think, have reached peak velocity. They can't spend any more.
Yeah.
And because they maxed out their credit. Where the upper middle class is, I would say, I live in California. If you have kids, you feel like you're middle class or low middle class. It is very expensive here. And so I think it doesn't take much just to shut the whole thing down. And the only people that have money are the wealthy, and they don't spend it. I always consider that that money dead money because it just gets put away and for growth. And then you just create this increasing, inequality. But that's not my argument. My argument is that when you have 60% of the population that has met peak velocity, we have no choice but to go into recession. And the charts we're going to show you guys tomorrow will probably make your jaws drop what's about to hit us. And it's really, really sad, and I don't even want to show these things, but it's really, really sad what's really going to come at us. Our government and our elites have totally screwed us, and they don't care. And it's just going to get really, really bad here because they're not fighting for you. They're fighting for them. And with that, Phil, that's really what I wanted to talk about today. I don't want people to be confused here. We get these stupid trolls here talking about this, that, and the other thing. Don't let these people deceive you.
Yeah. So in terms of GDP to CPI ratio, I totally agree with your assessment, and it's a great way to look at things. And I think it reflects a lot of what we're hearing out there. Guys, let us know what you think. Has it been a struggle for you in your area? Is it getting harder? Are things more expensive? And is it harder to meet ends meet? We'd love to hear your feedback on that. Otherwise, guys, please hit the like and subscribe button and check out our specials over at tradegenius.co. We'd love to have you in the room if you'd like to learn how to trade with us. That would be great. We'll see you on the next episode. Take care, guys.
Trade Genius.